versus Wolfe.
New segment, Koenig versus Wolfe. He's Koenig, I'm Wolfe. Clay is the general manager of, you are the general manager, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm the guy who answer to you, right? Okay. Why this segment? Why did you decide to do this?
Well, we've been doing the editorial now for about 2.5, 3 years. It's done very well. I get people emailing me, calling me all the time. Now with how viewing habits have changed, especially since COVID, when I was looking at some stats during lockdown, people watched 160 billion minutes worth of television, which is 314,000 years of TV combined. Basically, during lockdown, they watched television as much as the time it's taken humans to evolve. I mean,
Interesting.
It is.
All right. So this is going to be viewed on, you probably, if you're viewing it right now, you know one of them at least, but where can I find this show?
Right. This is going to be on WAND Now. This is the new app that we have created because we know that linear television is the most important, but people are using apps to go and watch anything they want on demand. So with this WAND Now app, we can watch news live when it's on. You can watch news stories on demand. You can watch sports, weather, agribusiness, editorials. Now you're going to be able to watch Koenig versus Wolfe. It's going to give the viewers a chance for us to break down the editorial and allow them to really get involved with what we're talking about here. I get slammed repeatedly by people, why aren't we covering the Biden stuff? Why aren't we doing this? Back and forth. What people don't realize is we're an NBC affiliate. The content that we care about is about Central Illinois right here. We just take what the network gives us, basically, what it boils down to. So our concentration and focus here in the Central Illinois community is to make sure we're providing content that allows our viewers to interact. Because they become involved, we become a stronger community. That's what we're looking for.
All right. So sometimes we're going to agree, other times we're going to disagree.
Absolutely.
And I know everybody agrees with your editorials because we don't get any of those phone calls in the newsroom complaining about you.
I say about 40% of the people probably disagree with me, but out of those 40%, a huge percentage of those people, at least they're civil when they're emailing me. I got a couple of people that, you have to keep an eye on, but for the most part, people just want to have a discussion again. We just don't discuss things anymore.
All right, and one of the things that we're going to discuss before this is over, I know we're going to take a break in a moment, but we're going to discuss how technology's changed, why people are clicking on Roku and what do we call it, News Now or?
WAND Now.
WAND Now.
That's the new app.
In fact, the NBC affiliates around the country are doing that, right?
Correct. I mean, everybody is joining forces because we know that people watch television differently than they did before COVID. Mm-hmm. So that's why they have that technology out there. Now, eventually when we provide all this content, we're going to end up being WAND Plus. That way people really know that they're getting that content that they want. But this is just beginning. So we are providing content. We'll be covering farm progress. We'll be covering the coat drive. We'll be covering, our Christmas, toy project that we do for the
Right.
kids here.
Spirit of Giving.
Spirit of Giving. I mean, there's so many things that we cover. We're going to allow people to watch this stuff on our app.
And then watch it when they want.
That's right. Watch it 2 o'clock in the morning. If you're up, you got a bad back, put it on WAND Now.
I missed the news at 6 o'clock. I can watch it at 11.
We will replay and replay until the next live comes about.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
And then I'd also like to have a 20-ounce white chocolate mocha with whole milk, 5 pumps of white chocolate sauce, 2 shots.
No one likes to wait, so why wait for your news? Catch the first evening newscast of the day. WAND News, first at 4.
Espresso on top, and then
When stories develop in your neighborhood, turn to Sean and Dawn every weeknight on WAND News, the central source.
So we have this new modern technology that Clay's been talking about. Let's talk about the old days. When I got in the business here at WAND TV, we shot all of our news stories on film. The old saying, film at 11, film at 10, it was actual film. If we did not have the film back in the newsroom by 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon, it did not get on for our 5:30 news, which was our only early news. It had to wait until 10. If we didn't have the film back by about 8 o'clock at night, it didn't get on at 10. It didn't get on until the next day at 5:30. So we had to literally process the film, develop it. They had to glue it together. it was assembled with glue, and then it would be on a big reel, and that would run. Had to be in order to hit the right story because it was on this big giant reel, and invariably the film would break. So we had a person in the back who was just an expert at splicing the film back together to get us back on the air. And then we evolved into videotape. We evolved into what is now digital. We actually edit our stories at our desk off of what you probably have at home on your camera, just those little SD cards.
Yes.
So we've come a long way from the days of dinosaurs roaming the earth to what we have now.
How long have you been in this business?
Since 1979.
Okay.
I took a pretty long break there for a while, went into another business, but I started here in 1979, and then I left at the end of 91, and I came back here in 2011.
Okay.
So basically 25 years just at WAND.
Excellent.
And I did radio and TV before that in Carbondale.
All right, so I've been doing this 31 years, 14 here. It's interesting when you talk about tape and film. When I was at KMID TV in Midland, Texas, we worked with 2-inch tape. And our sports guy, the guy was fantastic. He's probably in a huge market. I really haven't followed him, but he went to Dallas and he was covering the Dallas Cowboys. And I will never forget the video of Emmitt Smith running towards the camera on this. It looked pro. It looked so good. And that was 2-inch tape, and how our business has evolved since then, I mean, is amazing. I talk with traffic directors. They're saying magnets for spots. They're putting on the boards on what spots to run, where everything is now completely automated when you're pushing a button.
We've had a couple of people leave here and go on to really big jobs. We had a young lady here who's a young woman who did our weekend sports. Her name was Leandra Riley. She left here. She became the first woman ever to do play-by-play on a major network of NBA basketball. She did it on NBC. She did the play-by-play for one of their games. Was the first woman to ever do that. That was probably back in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
We had a gentleman here named Grant Napier, who's still in the business. He left here and became the voice of the Sacramento Kings NBA basketball team.
Is that right?
Yeah, he did it for, gosh, over 30 years. Now he does this stuff. He does internet and he does podcasts.
Yeah.
And so the technology has gone just from TV to, you're flipping around and you listen to in your car to a lot of these stations, and the podcasts are pretty interesting. You can listen to those.
So we have 322 million people every single day streaming some type of video.
How many?
322 million people in the United States every day are streaming.
Across the country.
80% of the entire population streams every single day.
And it's just boomed, like you said, since COVID.
Yes, I mean, it's just, it's growing exponentially. I believe that COVID has fast-forwarded television habits by 15 years. I thought by the time I was ready to retire, all this digital would really come into play. Mm-hmm. But because of COVID and everybody locked down, technology just started kabooming. And now we've adapted this, and now I believe that we're 15 years ahead of schedule when it comes to television viewing.
Absolutely. And then, again, like, you ever get in the car and listen to a podcast? I don't know if you listen to podcasts at all.
Once in a while.
But if I'm doing a long trip, I'm going to do a podcast.
Sure.
Some of those are 30 minutes, 60 minutes. Some are 10 minutes. But it's nice just to be able to, have your phone, plug it in, hit a podcast, and go.
So when you talk about when you're putting together stories at your desk and everything, compared to what you did, how much time was it back then putting together a story? Because you were talking about if it isn't done by this time, it's not getting on until the 10 o'clock news. You must have been working hours per story versus
minutes. Yes, because we had fewer people, too. We had 2 cars for this whole station, okay? We shared one with sports, the news department, 2 cars, shared one with sports. So sports had a big sporting event. They took one of the cars. That left the whole newsroom with one vehicle to get around in.
I heard that we had a helicopter at one time.
We leased them, yes. We leased from a local company here. It did news for us and also did insect spraying, doing farm fields. It would spray the insects. I think that was their main money, but we did lease them.
So do you remember the floods of 93, 94?
Yes.
When the levees broke?
Right.
So the first television station I worked at was WGEM-TV in Quincy, Illinois.
Okay.
And that was the year that the levees had flooded. And Ralph Oakley, who was the general manager there, the Oakleys owned WGM amongst other stations, they rented a helicopter for us to go see our clients over in Hannibal, Missouri. We had to get across the river. And It was interesting. I drove on the helicopter a couple of times. That's all I needed. I was fine. I like to be grounded, but it was a good way for us to get to our clients because months and months we couldn't have traffic crossing that bridge even with the levees broke.
We were always hostage to the insect spraying because, like I said, it probably made them more money. And one time they sent me down to Christian County to cover a helicopter crash. It was one that had our logo on it.
Oh, no.
I get down there, I'm going, that's when we fly in.
Everybody okay?
Yeah, it was just the pilot, and he was okay.
Okay, thank goodness.
He wasn't too happy we were shooting the video, but he made it quite clear that we shouldn't hang around too long. He was pretty hot. But anyway, that's the way it was. All right, so we're going to be doing this segment on a weekly basis?
Yeah, on a weekly basis. So before I was doing my editorials every 2 weeks to allow the viewers to call in, we can't do that now. Technology is just rushing. So we're going to do an editorial once a week. After the editorial, you and I are going to sit down.
Right.
They're going to throw that up on the app, and we're going to be good to go.
And we'll have people agreeing with us every darn time.
Every single time, Doug.
Okay, all right.
Very good.
All right, we'll be back next time.
Thank you.